First $1 million gate since the famous Dempsey Tunney long count battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone stunned by the fury of Lewis's attack.
What's happening, my people? It's Cash Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Hardcore Boxing News, hashtag JBT. Mike Mazik, Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cash Sports, the Box Storian. Today, the life and career of SMOKIN Joe Frazier. SMOKIN Joe Frazier. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Storian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. How's everyone Friday afternoon edition of Cat Sports the Box Story. Pulled right back up on another weekend. So if you're not ready for the weekend, you better get ready because it's upon us. Got a couple cards tonight. I don't know why I can't never remember this guy's name. That's a real funny name. Janneback. I'm not even gonna mention his last name. I'm gonna go over that card real quick in a few minutes because that card might be the big one of the weekend. We got Nick Ball in there tomorrow, making his first defense of his title at 126 that he took off Raymond Ford in one of those re-yard seasons. But we're gonna be talking about Smokin' Joe today. Smokin' Joe Frazier. Only beaten by two people. Only ones to beat Smokin' Joe Frazier was Big George Foreman, and the other one, the greatest, Muhammad Ali. So that is incredible. The era he fought in with all those great heavyweights, beat all of them except for Ali and Foreman. He beat all of them he was in there with, and he was in there with some good ones. Smokin' Joe, former professional world heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist. So yeah, quite a career for Smokin' Joe Frazier. That's who we're going to be talking about today. Finish up this big week of boxing history. So don't forget Monday, fantasy matchups Monday. Roberto Duran going to be in the hot seat next week, and mainly lightweight because, like I told you yesterday, Roberto was the hands of stones at lightweight. Okay, the hands of stone, lightweight. He came to those 70s like crazy, man. Y'all know 72 fights, only lost one. That's the boy DeJesus. Then he came back and beat him twice. He's gonna be on the hot seat Monday. Probably get him in Tank. I remember the young man, I think he's related to Calvin Ford, was in here when we first started the fantasy matchups. He asked me about Roberto on Tank, but he said, don't tell me. He'll wait until I do the matchup. So I hope he's here Monday. Yeah, to see that. I don't know his name, but yeah. But I'm going to try to be unbiased, because, I can be very biased toward Tank. I have Tank fighting King Kong and Godzilla on the same night and knock both of them out in the first 30 seconds. So I'm going to try to be unbiased. But Tank and Roberto would be a good one because Tank would probably knock him out because Roberto going to be right up on it. There was no backup in Roberto, so Tank would not have to go find him, cut the ring off or anything because Roberto going to be right there. And he would end up getting caught by one of those big one-hitter quitters, just like everybody else does. But we'll see Monday what happens. But today is Smokin' Joe Frazier. Not Frazier, Frazier. Like Howard Cosell used to say, remember? Smokin' Joe Frazier. Yeah. And we're going to get deep into his career. He had a son and daughter. Followed him into the ring. Not many boxers can say that. Some can say the son followed him in there or the daughter. Joe's son and daughter was professional boxers. Had an Ali Frazier 4. Remember the fight of the century between the fathers was March 8th, 1971. 30 years later, on the anniversary, they had Ali Frazier 4. Later, Ali was Jackie Frazier live. Ali won Ali Frazier 4 too. Yeah. But that's saying something. When you have a rivalry that popular and well known that the daughters 30 years later fight on the anniversary of the biggest fight of that rivalry, the Thriller in Manila. No. Fight of the century. That was the first one. Fight of the century was really the biggest one, but the Thriller in Manila was the best one. Know what I mean? Yeah. As far as popularity and gate and all that, the fight of the century, the first one, because they both really had a claim to the title because Frazier had won it in the ring, right? But Ali never lost it in the ring. So, they both had a claim to it. Legitimate claim, I think. And they settled it. Unlike nowadays, they would just ignore each other. Situation like that. But they settled it in the ring. Frazier won, gave Ali his first loss, put him on the seat of his pants. Smokin' Joe, great career. Then he had the situation, Ali won the second and third fight, then the other. This is the last thing I'm going to tell you because I'm telling you the whole show before I even get started. But Big George, yeah, he knocked Frazier down 6 times in 2 rounds and stopped him. Yeah, nobody did Joe Frazier like that, but Big George did it. One time Frazier went down and bounced up and started running. They had it on Sports Illustrated. Jay, remember? Frazier was running, and Foreman was right behind him, man. It was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, yeah. But he had a great career, man. Beat some great heavyweight in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. But he never got over. Ali went a little bit too far in the trash talk, man. You know, he kept calling the man out of his name, called him a monkey or Uncle Tom, talked about his family. And Joe, you know, they showed the two together in later years, and Joe put on a good face in public, but he never got over that, man, the way Ali treated him. Because Joe looked out for Ali. When Ali was suspended and barred from fighting, Joe loaned him money to help him pay his bills and stuff, man. Yeah. And when Ali got stripped, they had a tournament to see who would get the belts that they stripped from him. Joe boycotted the tournament because, you know, protesting them stripping Ali. And then Ali treated him the way he did. Man, Ali was way off base. And, you know, I told you this story before when Ali went to like that torch in Atlanta, remember at the Olympics in 96. Joe Frazier's son Marvin said, they were watching it together, and Joe turned to him and said, if I was there, I'd push his ass in there within those flames. So Joe never really got over that, man, and you can't blame him. Because he looked out for Ali when Ali couldn't fight, couldn't earn money. And Joe looked out for him and loaned him money, man. And yeah, Ali really, you know, you can trash talk before a fight, but Ali kind of went overboard with it, man. Yeah. You know, you don't bring the families and stuff like that into it. But that's exactly what Ali did. But I ain't telling y'all no more because they don't be used doing the show if I keep on running my mouth before 2:30. But how's everybody today? Good to see you. Appreciate everybody rocking with me today. Big Supreme in the building. What's up, Big Supreme? Hashtag AMCFSG and D1 from the Angry White Men podcast. Hashtag JBT. Did we get Angry White Men today? I wish they would take one of them slots in the morning and just come on every day, man. You know, but salute D1 and Big Supreme. Big Supreme says he beat Patterson, Frazier, and Foreman. Binks, Ali beat 4 different gold medalists. He sure did, Big Supreme, yeah. 4, yeah. Patterson, Frazier, Foreman, and Spinks. All gold medalists, man. Yes, sir. Good, great point, Big Supreme, yeah. And you know, I never made that connection. Now you know something and don't know it. I never thought about that before, Big Supreme, but you're 100% correct on that. Not many people do that. He beat 4 gold medals, yeah. And you know, Ali, Frazier, and Foreman was back to back in the 60s. Where could it go to? Yeah, Ali won it in 60, but I think Ali was light heavyweight, right? And then Frazier got it in 64 in Tokyo. Ali was in Rome. Frazier got it in 64 in Tokyo, and then Big George got it in 68 in Mexico City. And Big George only had like 21 amateur fights and won the gold medal, man. Incredible, man. And then all 3 of them became professional heavyweight champions and fought each other, you know? 3 gold medalists. And like Big Supreme said, Ali beat 4 gold medals. That's incredible, man. That was just an incredible time of watching boxing. That's when I came into it. My first fight was the Thriller in Manila. So after I watched a couple more fights after that, I was disappointed because I thought every fight was going to be like the Killer in Manila. You know, they almost killed each other in there, and I was expecting that. I said, I'm going to love this boxing. And so I was kind of disappointed after watching a couple fights after that. Because those 2 guys, man, after round 10, I don't know how they kept coming out there. Nowadays, that would have been stopped. You know, they would go to the corners, dragging, like walking in slow motion. But when that bell rang, man, they was right back out there going at it full speed. And then in round 14, Ali threw everything but the kitchen sink at Frazier, man. Ali went for it. Frazier would not go down. So after 14, Ali told Angelo Dundee, I don't have anything left. Cut my gloves off, man. And Angelo Dundee wouldn't do it. Meanwhile, Now Ali over there arguing with his trainer to cut his gloves off. Frazier over there arguing with Eddie Futch because Eddie Futch was calling it. Frazier was blind in both eyes. Ali had shut both eyes. Still wanted to come back out there, man. But Eddie Futch said, "No one will forget what you did here today, son," and threw the towel in. Now, if Frazier would have waited a little while longer, he might have won because Ali said he wasn't coming back out either. So if Frazier would have waited longer, Ali's towel might have came in first. But yeah, that's the fight I came into boxing on. And yeah, that was the golden era of the heavyweight. So let's look at this card tonight. The Janibek. Janibek had to go to Australia because Bob's father messed around and lost the purse bid. This man, the champion, got to travel way over there to Australia. Oh yeah, Janibek. I think Big Supreme. Where you say it was from? I forgot already. You told me. I think it was earlier in the week where Janibek was from, but he's from Europe, somewhere over there near Russia, I believe. But anyway, he's headlining tonight from Australia against Andre Mikhailovich, right? Janibek comes in at 15-0 with 10 knockouts, and Mikhailovich comes in at 21-0, 10 knockouts. So tonight, somebody's old got to go, man. Yeah, somebody's old got to go, but not really. It might be a draw. But somebody's old will go. It ain't gonna be no draw. Janibek always an exciting fight. Yeah. Okay. I'm writing down names. I write down everybody. When I start getting them 100, 200 people in here, I'm not going to be able to do that, though. But yeah, that's the headliner on the card. I'll be back with you in a minute. He won. Big Supreme came in. And that's it. Oh, Crush the Legend. What's up, Crush the Legend? 6:30 Shorty in the building. Like Crush say, wake up early in the morning and eat your coffee and donuts with him talking that fire boxing talk. First thing in the morning. I ain't been able to make it lately. They've been getting the butt out the duck on me lately. Is that the right way you say it? They've been working my ass off. I'm not trying to say. But not too much longer. But salute, Crush the Legend. How are you today, bro? We're going to talk about Smoking Joe Frazier. But first, let's finish up this card from the night. I think we got two of them tonight, right? Yeah. Janibek against Mikhailovich is the main event. And then you got Mio Matu, comes in at 19-0 with 7 knockouts. Going up against Shannon O'Connell, 24-7, 12 knockouts. That's the women's fight. That's at a catch weight, 125 pounds, 8 rounds. Of course, Janibek is 12 title fight. Janibek has the IBF middleweight. Plus, he has the minor title, the WIBO or something like that. Yeah, and set 2. Then we have Ahmad Rita. He's 2-0, 2 knockouts prospect, going up against Joe Cara. Now, Joe is 5 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw. But guess what? Joe got a 100% knockout rate. 5 wins, 6 losses, but 5 knockouts. So when Joe wins, he gets his man up out of there. That's 4 rounds. Okay. Then Charlie Kazi, 6-0, 2 knockouts against Lou Magava. 4-6, 1 knockout. They are lightweights, 8 rounds. And Ahmad Rita and Joe Cara, they were lightweights too. So yeah, top ESPN Plus. Your Bob's father lost the purse bid. That's why it's way over there in Australia. I think it was Kazakhstan, where Janibek is from. Yeah, Kazakhstan. George Foreman. I'm not sure. I have to check on that Big Supreme. I know that when he came back, Angelo had it. You know, the second coming of George Foreman here. Angelo Dundee. But yeah, it was probably him, Big Supreme. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kazakhstan, that's it. I think that might be right. As far as I know. You know I can't spell it. You're asking the wrong person, Big Supreme. All I know is to start with a K. That's as far as I get. It starts with a K. Yeah. But how's everybody today? It's weekend time again. Hope everybody got to have a nice one. Just be safe out there, that's all. We got 2 cards tomorrow. Then we got one Sunday from Japan. You know how they do. It'll really probably be Saturday in Japan, but they don't cater to us. They put their fights on at their own time. You know how some places will have it at their place, like 1 o'clock in the morning, just so to be in prime time here. Japan doesn't do that. Japan put their fights on at their own time and say, if you want to see it over there, you got to get up. You know, the Monster, Tuesday mornings. But I get up for the Monster because that guy is incredible, man. Every time he's on there, I get up for that. Yeah. Not on the schedule. The Monster just had one, didn't he? Like a month or so ago. Yeah. And my main man, Big Hat Barrios got beat. They set him up. Sent him way over to Japan against a guy with a 92% knockout rate. Yeah. When he should have he won the title eliminator, but never got his title fight. What was the purpose of putting him in the title eliminator? So let me stop because I can talk the entire show about how they did Barrios. They're not going to let him back in either because he was dangerous. Right, it's overcast. Which one, Mike? Which one were you talking about? The Barrios? Which one? It's over. Was it last night? Damn. Oh my good. Oh yeah. What? No, I thought it was the 4th. It was last night? That's the same thing happened to me last weekend. I thought Alicia Baumgartner and Pursuing was Saturday, it was Friday. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was this morning. From Australia, okay. Yeah, Australia. Oh well. Who won? Janabat? Yeah, Australia. Okay. Thank you, Mike. That's another one I missed. I didn't make that connection. Australia. Yeah. Well, we still got another card tonight and a couple more tomorrow. One Sunday. And next week is fight week for the big light heavyweight showdown, remember? Arthur Beterbiev and Bivol. So after next Saturday, we will have the first ever 4-belt undisputed champion at 175. If it don't be a draw. I got Bivol. P1 has Beterbiev getting them out of there around the 10th round. So the good thing about it is we will see it. You know, we got so many fights, big fights, matchups nowadays that we want to see. We don't get them, but we getting this one. And we'll be going into fight week in a couple more days. Melanie Queen 27 in the building. What's up, Melanie Queen? How are you today? Good to see you. We get ready to get started. Just about 2:30. Smoking Joe Frazier. The profile today. Always end up that big week of boxing history with the profile. Salute Melanie Queen 27. Everybody's smashing on the appreciation button. That's what we call the like button in the JBT. Appreciation. Yeah, they look okay. Okay, let's get ready to get started with Smoking Joe Frazier. I never found my phone that I dropped. Oh, excuse me for a second. Oh, there it is. I got it. I don't know how I got way over there. Okay. Yeah, Smoking Joe only lost to Ali and Foreman, though, remember? Yeah, him and Ken Norton would have been a good fight, but they were friends and wouldn't fight each other, you know? you know, you got to put that friendship to the side when it comes time to making that money in that ring, you know? Like Jay said, Tyson said, if you're my friend, help me make this money. Right? Okay, let's this raffle is almost, it's exactly 1 week away now, so let's check that out real quick. These fantastic prizes you can win, and then we'll get started. So we're gonna let Big Dre, our spokesperson, tell you about these fantastic prizes, and then we're gonna go. Here we go.
With a liquid retina display which shows off beautiful color and has plenty of power for all your handheld computing needs. Great for work, play, or just movies on the go. How much is it to enter, you ask? Just $10. Or you can catch the deal with 3 entries for just $25. It's easy to enter. Just cash app your entries to $JBT Network 1. That's $JBT Network 1. Our second item is a set of Kenichi Bear Bluetooth noise canceling headphones. Great for gaming, movies, or travel. As the second prize in this great raffle. Our third item is a Ninja brand air fryer. Great for all your air frying needs. Cooking healthy with the JBT. So send your entries via Cash App to JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. $10 each or 3 for $25. Put raffle on the comment line and you are entered.
Yeah, it's next week too. Next Saturday. The JBT content creators have a joint show scheduled, okay, on the day of the Revolve Better Be Air fight, and that's when the drawing will be done. I better tell Miss Cass that Janet Beck fight this morning because she got money on it. She bet some money. You all hear, Miss Cass? The fight was this morning. Yeah, I think she had some money on Janet Beck. How was that? Okay. Salute to BVO Boxing TV and BN Boxing News. 2 more fire JBT channels. Salute, gentlemen. BN Boxing News and BVO Boxing TV. #JBT. I didn't forget what we was talking about neither BVO Boxing TV. I've been busy. A lot of stuff tied up together. This is crunch time. But let's get ready to get started. Salute, gentlemen. The life and career of SMOKIN Joe Frazier. Let me close this window up, man. I don't know what's going on outside. Sound like the neighbors out there fighting or something. Damn. Over there across the yard, man. Damn. My name Bennett, I ain't in it. I'm getting ready to talk about Joe Frazier. Okay. The life and career of SMOKIN Joe Frazier. Now, his real full name is Joseph William Frazier, okay? He was born January 12th, 1944. Excuse me for a minute, please. Get this down a little bit. That's a notch. Yeah, Ali was way out of line with some of his trash talking. We're going to get to that. Joe Frazier paid some of the man's bills when the man couldn't earn a living as a fighter. But we're going to get to all of that, okay? Yeah, William Joseph Frazier, also known as SMOKIN Joe Frazier, right? professional boxer. He competed from 1965 to 1981. Okay, had a 16-year career. And he's widely regarded as one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time, Smokin' Joe. Al Booker in the building. What's up, AB? Yeah, Joe is definitely regarded as one of the greatest of all time. You know, out of all his fights, he had 4 losses, but they came to just two different fighters, Ali and Foreman. That ain't nothing to hang your head about losing them two of the greatest. All 3 of them fought in, all 3 Olympic gold medalists, all 3 fought in the golden era of heavyweights, okay? But Joe was known for his strength, durability, formidable left hook, and relentless pressure fighting style. And he was the first boxer to beat Muhammad Ali, right? Put him on the canvas. He wasn't the first one to put him on the canvas, but he was the first one to beat him. Now, Frazier won a gold medal at the 1964 Summer Olympic Games held in Tokyo, Japan, right? And he held the New York State Athletic Commission heavyweight title from 1968 to 1973. And he was the undisputed heavyweight champion from 1970 to 1973, okay? Very successful, decorated amateur and professional career. Now, Smokin' Joe fought out of the orthodox stance. He was 5'11" tall. He had a reach of 73.5 inches, right? And he had a total of 37 fights in his career. I really thought Joe had more than that, but 37 fights in his career, that was it. Yeah, he won 32 of them. Told you he lost those 4, 2 to Ali, 2 to Foreman. And he had 1 draw. And had 27 knockouts. You know, that's not a bad knockout rate at all. You know, I'm just figure it out. 84%. Yeah, only 5 people went the distance with him. Okay, so not bad, Smokin' Joe. Anytime you get over 80, that is fantastic knockout rate for Smokin' Joe. In the International Boxing Hall of Fame too. Okay. Now, you gotta keep track. Ant McQueen in the building. What's up, Ant? Good to see you. I haven't seen Ant in a while. Ant always listening though. Salute, Ant McQueen from the Casuals Corner Breakdown crew. Let's break down Shorty. Okay. Now, Frazier emerged as the top contender in the late as the top contender in the late 1960s, right? Becoming undisputed heavyweight champion in 1970. Okay? In 1971, he defeated Ali by unanimous decision in the highly anticipated fight of the century. 2 years later, Frazier lost his title to Big George Foreman. His last world title challenge came in 1975. That was the Thriller in Manila. He lost it to Ali. That was the brutal rubber match between the two. Frazier retired in 1976 after a second loss to Big George Foreman. But he made a comeback in 1981 before retiring for good. With 37 fights, 32 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. And as much as Ali and Frazier's career was intertwined, they retired exactly 1 week apart, okay? Frazier retired and then Ali retired exactly 1 week later. Incredible. Yep. And the International Boxing Research Organization rates Joe Frazier among the 10 greatest heavyweights of all time. Ring Magazine named him Fighter of the Year in 1967, 1970, and 1971. And the Boxing Writers Association of America, the BWAA, named Smokin' Joe Fighter of the Year in 1969, 1971, and 1975. And in 1999, Ring Magazine ranked Joe the 8th greatest heavyweight of all time, okay, in the top 10. And he went into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the 1990, the inaugural year, right? Smoking Joe Frazier. That style was also compared with that of Henry Armstrong and occasionally Rocky Marciano. See, both of them were small heavyweights, him and Rocky, and was dependent on bobbing, weaving, and relentless pressure to wear down his opponents. His best known punch, y'all know what that was. Smoking Joe's best known punch was his left hook, which accounted for most of his knockouts. Like I was telling you, in his career, he only lost to 2 fighters, and both of those had Olympic gold medals, right? Twice to Muhammad Ali, and twice to Big George Foreman. Yep, just lost to 2 people. Now, Frazier continued to train fighters in his gym in Philly after his retirement. And like I was telling you in the opening, his attitude towards Muhammad Ali in later life was largely characterized by bitterness and contempt, right? But it was interspersed with brief conciliations. But yeah, he took that to his grave, his dislike of Ali. Now you would see them both as they got older together in public appearances. They was together at an NBA All-Star game one time and just smiling for the cameras. But Frazier never really got over that. But because Ali went overboard, man. I told you Frazier looked out for him. Frazier loaned him money when Ali was suspended and couldn't make a living in boxing. When they stripped Ali, they had a tournament to find the person that was going to replace him as champion. Frazier boycotted it because they stripped Ali. Frazier wouldn't get in it. That's how much he supported Ali, and then Ali carried it the way he did with him. He went overboard, because you don't bring the families and all that into it, But anyway, let's look at Joe's early life. Okay, look at this. Take a look at Smoking Joe's early life. Now, Reuben Frazier had his left hand and part of his forearm amputated in a tractor accident the year that Joe was born. His father, Reuben Frazier and his wife Dolly had been in their car when their friend Arthur Smith, who was drunk, made a move for Raleigh, but was rebuffed. But for Dolly, made a move for Joe Frazier's mother. Stefan Galusi, a local barkeep, recounted the experience. Okay, when the Fraziers drove away, Smith fired at them several times and hit Dolly in the foot, and Reuben several times in his arm. And Smith was convicted and sent to prison, but did not stay long. Dolly said, "If you were a good workman, the white man took you out of jail and kept you busy on the farm." Yeah. So if you were a good workman, the white man would get you out of prison and keep you busy on the farm. Now, Frazier's parents worked their farm with 2 mules, Buck and Jenny. Those were the mules' names. The farmland was what country people called white dirt, which is another way of saying it isn't worth a damn. They could not grow peas or corn on it, only cotton and watermelon, okay? Now, let's look at Joe's introduction to boxing. Introduction to boxing. In the early 1950s, Joe's father bought a black and white television, and his family and others nearby came to watch boxing matches on the TV, okay? Frazier's mother sold drinks for a quarter, as they watched boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, Rocky Marciano, Willie Pep, and Rocky Graciano. Now, one night, Frazier's uncle, Israel, noticed his stocky build. Noticed Frazier's stocky build, right? And his uncle said, that boy there, that boy's going to be another Joe Louis, he remarked. And the words made an impression on Joe when his uncle told him that. His classmates at school would give him a sandwich or a quarter to walk with them at final bell, so that bullies would not bother them. Yeah, they used to pay Joe to walk him home, keep the bullies off of him. And Frazier said, any scam boogie, disrespectful, lowdown, and foul person who got in my face would soon regret it. He could kick anybody's ass, right? And the day after his uncle made that comment about him, Frazier filled an old burlap sack with rags, corn cobs, a brick, and Spanish moss. And he hung the makeshift heavy bag on an oak tree in the backyard of the family's home. And for the next 6 years, almost every day, he hit that heavy bag for an hour at a time. He said, I wrap my hands with a necktie of my father's or a stocking of my mother's or sister's and get to it. Early work. Early work. Not long after Frazier started working, his left arm was seriously injured while he was running from the family's 300-pound hog. Wow. One day, Frazier poked the hog with a stick and ran away. Now, the gate in the pig pen was open, and the hog got out and chased him. And Joe fell and hit his left arm on a brick. His arm was torn badly, but as the family could not afford a doctor, the arm had to heal on its own. Wow, they didn't have no emergency room back in those days. But yeah, for black people, yeah, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, the family couldn't afford a doctor, so the arm had to heal on its own. And Joe was never able to keep that arm fully straight again in his life. Wow. And when Joe was 15 years old, he had been working on a farm for a family named Bellamy. And they were both white men. Mac was younger and more easygoing. And Jim was rougher and somewhat backwards. One day, a black kid about 12 years old accidentally damaged one of the Bellamy's tractors, right? Jim became so outraged, he took off his belt and whipped the boy with the belt right there in the field. Joe Frazier saw it and went back to the packing house on the farm and told his black friends that he had what he had saw. And soon Jim saw Frazier and asked him why he told others what he had witnessed. And Joe then told Bellamy he did not know what he was talking about. But Jim did not believe Frazier. And he told Frazier to get off the farm before he took off his belt again. Uh-oh. And Frazier told him he was not going to use his belt on him. Jim then analyzed Frazier for a bit and eventually said, go on, get the hell out of here. Yeah, Jim rethought that. And Joe knew from that moment on, it was time for him to leave Beaufort, South Carolina. And he could see only hard times and low rent for himself, right? Even his mother could see that. She told Joe, son, if you can't get along with oh, excuse me for a minute. Damn. Excuse me for 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, his mother told him. Bear with me for 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. There's some technical difficulties. I knocked my lamp in the floor. Sorry. Everything's back together. Okay, now where was it? Yeah, his mother told him, son, if you can't get along with the white folks, then it's time for you to leave home, because I don't want anything to happen to you. Now, the train fare from Beaufort to the cities up north was expensive, and the closest bus stop was in Charleston, which was 75 miles away, right? And in 1958, a Greyhound Line bus called The Dog by locals in Beaufort made Beaufort a stop on its South Carolina route. Frazier had a brother, Tommy, that lived in New York, right? And he was told that he could stay with Tommy and his family. And he had to save up a bit before he could make the bus trip to New York and still have some money in his pockets. So he first went to work at the local Coca-Cola plant. Frazier recalled that the white guy would drive the truck and that he would do the real work, stacking and loading the crates. And he worked with Coca-Cola until the government began building houses for the Marine stations at Paris Island, where he was hired on a work crew, building houses. So then he made his departure for Philly. Okay, he saved up enough money. Time to go. Okay. Donnie Williams in the building. What's up, Donnie Williams? It's the original Happy. Oh, Happy Hour drinks for a quarter. Yeah, right, Donnie. Yeah, drinks for a quarter. Wow. That wasn't a bad idea, though. You know, it was one of the only families that had TVs, so yeah. Let the neighbors come and watch. I would have charged them to get in, period. Even before the drinks. You might would have had that porter pay that quarter just to get in the house to watch the fight, you know. Then you had to pay another quarter to get the drink. Or just pay $1. That covers everything. Drinks, food, you know, because that's how it was back then. Stuff wasn't that expensive. But salute Donnie Williams. So he's making his departure for Philly, okay? Now, 9 months eventually passed since he had got the boot from the Bellamy farm before he actually left, right? And with no fanfare and no tearful goodbyes, Joe packed quickly and got the first bus heading north, where he settled in Philly, right? He said, I climbed on the dog's back and rode it through the night. It was 1959. I was 15 years old and was on my own. Okay, so now let's get into his career. That's how he wound up in Philly, okay? Now we get into his career. Amateur. He had a very decorated amateur career too. Olympic gold medalist, okay? He was an Olympic gold medalist. Now, during his amateur career, he won Golden Gloves heavyweight championships in 1962, 1963, and 1964. Same year he won the Olympics. His only loss in 3 years as an amateur was to Buster Mathis, who he later beat Buster in the professionals, remember? Buster Mathis would prove to be Joe's biggest obstacle to making the 1964 U.S. Olympic boxing team. They met in the final of the U.S. Olympic trials at the New York World's Fair in the summer of 1964. The fight was scheduled for 3 rounds, and they fought with 10-ounce gloves and with headgear. But the boxers who made it to Tokyo would wear no headgear and would wear 8-ounce gloves. Frazier was eager to get back at Mathis, his only amateur loss, right? And he knocked Mathis out, and he knocked out 2 opponents to get to the finals, right? He was eager to get to Mathis. But once again, when the dust settled, The judges had called it for Mathis. Undeservedly, Joe thought, because Joe felt he had won it. But there was his only 2 losses in the amateur so far before the Olympics was to the same guy, Buster Mathis. Yep. Now, Joe said, all that fat boy had done was run like a thief. Hit me with a peck and backpedal like crazy. That's what Joe thought about the fight. Now Mathis had worn his trunk very high, so that when Frazier hit Mathis with legitimate body shots, the referee took a dim view of them. In the second round, the referee had gone so far as to penalize Joe 2 points for hitting below the belt. In a 3-round fight, a man can't afford a points deduction like that, Frazier said. He then returned to Philly and felt as low as he had ever had been. And even though he thought of giving up boxing, right? Duke Dugan and his trainer, Yancey Durham, were able to talk him out of his doldrums and even suggested that Joe make the trip to Tokyo as an alternate in case something happened to Mathis. And that was a good idea. He was almost ready to give up boxing, but his manager, Yancey Durham, talked him into going to Tokyo as an alternate. And look what ended up happening. Ended up getting the gold medal. Okay. Now, Frazier agreed, right, about going to Tokyo as an alternate. Okay. Yeah, Frazier agreed, and it was a workhorse. When he got to Tokyo, he was a workhorse, sparring with any of the Olympic boxers who wanted some action. Middleweight, light heavyweight, it didn't matter to me. I got in there and boxed all comers. Now, in contrast, Mathis was slacking off. In the morning, when the Olympic team would do their road work, Mathis would run a mile and start walking and say, "Go on, Joe. I'll catch up with you." And Frazier's amateur record was 38-2. Only those 2 losses to Mathis. Now let's look at what happened in the Olympics, okay? Because remember, he lost the finals to Buster Mathis, and he wasn't supposed to be in the Olympics. But his manager, Yancey Durham, talked him into going as an alternate. And it worked out for him. 1964 Summer Olympics, Tokyo, Japan. Okay? Now in 1964, heavyweight representative Buster Mathis qualified, but Buster was injured. And so Joe Frazier was sent as a replacement. So he got in. Joe Frazier ended up fighting in the Olympics. Okay? Keep losing my damn place. Now, at the heavyweight boxing event, Frazier knocked out George Olawalo of Uganda. That might be actually how you say it. Olawalo of Uganda in the round of 16. Then he knocked out Athol McQueen. Wow, Athol McQueen. You know him, man? Athol, Athol McQueen of Australia. 40 seconds into the quarterfinals. Okay, 40 seconds, knocked him out. Right? Then, facing the 6'2", 214, but them, I'm not even gonna attempt that. Here's his name. It's got like 50 letters in it. I'll write it in. Take a break real quick. From the Soviet Union, okay? This is who his next fight was against. You know, I'll let y'all pronounce it for yourself. Come on, man. Keep losing my place. There it is. Y-E-M Okay, that was who his next victim was. Right there. I took a shot. But then, Yamalyanov. Okay. So this guy was Russian, 6'2", 214 pounds. Okay. This was the semifinals. Joe said, "My left hook was a heat-seeking missile, careening off his face and body time and time again. Twice in the second round, I knocked him to the canvas. But as I pounded away, I felt a jolt of pain shoot through my left arm. Oh, damn, the thumb," Frazier said. He knew immediately the thumb of his left hand was damaged, but he was unsure as to the extent, right? Now he said, in the midst of the fight, with your adrenaline pumping, it's hard to gauge such a thing. My mind was on much more important matters, like how I was going to deal with he don't say the guy's name, for the rest of the fight. Now the fight ended when the Soviets handlers threw in the towel at 1:49 of the second round, and the referee raised Frazier's injured hand in victory. Okay, that was the semifinal. Now he's all the way to the final, but he got a broken hand. Now check this out. Now that Frazier was into the final, he mentioned his broken hand to no one. Didn't even tell nobody, okay? He went back to his room and soaked his thumb in hot water and Epsom salts, okay? Frazier said, pain or not, Joe Frazier of Beaufort, South Carolina, was going to get that gold medal, right? So he went on to fight German Hans Huber. Now remember that name, yeah, Hans Huber. 8 years his senior. And Joe was now used to fighting bigger guys. He did that his entire career, professionally too, okay? Now by now, Frazier was used to fighting bigger guys, but not with a damaged left hand. And when the opening bell sounded on fight night, Joe came out. He started swinging punches and threw his right hand more than usual, okay? Every so often, he would use his left hook, but nothing landed with the kind of impact that he had managed in previous fights. But he won a 3-2 decision, fought the last fight with a broken thumb, and still won it. Smoking Joe Frazier. Never told nobody about it, okay? He just went on and fought. Yep, and won. Okay, now it's time for Smoking Joe's professional career. What just happened there? Time for his professional career. Okay, professional career. Okay. Get with me for a second. Okay, let's take a break real quick. Okay? Because this raffle is just a week away. So it's time for everybody to get their tickets. If you haven't got them, you only got a week. These fantastic prizes. Just listen.
It's time for another raffle brought to you by the JBT. Our first item is a new 10th generation iPad with a liquid retina display which shows off beautiful color and has plenty of power for all your handheld computing needs. Great for work, play, or just movies on the go. How much is it to enter, you ask? Just $10. Or you can catch the deal with 3 entries for just $25. It's easy to enter. Just cash app your entries to $JBT Network 1. That's $JBT Network 1. Our second item is a set of Kenichi Bear Bluetooth noise canceling headphones. Great for gaming, movies, or travel. As the second prize in this great raffle, our third item is a Ninja brand air fryer. Great for all your air frying needs. Cooking healthy with the JBT. So send your entries via Cash App to JBT Network 1. That's JBT Network 1. $10 each or 3 for $25. Put raffle on the comment line and you are entered.
Yep. And the raffle will be on Saturday, October 12th, and you will get your prize the following week. Now, the headphones might get lost in the mail. And then if you see me somewhere with a pair like that, that's not them. I'm gonna buy me some. All right? Just letting you know. Nah, you'll get them. Those headphones are fire. If I won first place, I would request the headphones. Okay, but Joe Frazier's professional career. Okay, Olympic gold medalist. Broke his thumb in the semifinals. Didn't tell nobody. Went out there with one hand, basically, and won the gold medal. 3-2. Final fight against German Hans Huber. Excuse me. After Frazier won, and that gold medal was the only Olympic gold medal in boxing in '64. Was the one Joe Frazier won. If we would have told somebody about that broken thumb, we wouldn't have had that one. After Frazier won the only American 1964 Olympic boxing gold medal, his trainer, Yancey Yank Durham, helped put together Cloverley, a group of local businessmen, including a young Larry Merchant, remember Larry Merchant, who invested in Frazier's professional career and allowed him to train full-time. Durham was Frazier's chief trainer and manager until Durham's death in August 1973. Yeah, Durham was before Eddie Futch, but Eddie Futch did come in as like an assistant trainer before Durham died. Then Eddie Futch took over after Durham died. Now, Frazier turned professional in 1965 by defeating Woody Goss by a technical knockout in the first round. He won 3 more fights that year, all by knockout, and none going past the third round, okay? First 4 fights, none of them got out of the third round. Later that year, he was in a training accident that left him legally blind in his left eye. Wow. Legally blind in his left eye. That don't mean he couldn't see out of it. You can be legally blind and still be able to see. You know, that don't mean he couldn't see. But classified as legally blind in his left eye. Now check this out. Doing one fight physical, after reading the eye chart with his right eye, when the doctor prompted him to cover the other eye, you know, cover the right eye up so he could be looking out of the left eye, right? Frazier switched hands, but covered the left eye for a second time. And the state athletic commission physician didn't even notice. So he covered the left eye and read with his right eye. Then the doctor told him to cover the right eye, read with the left eye. He switched hands but covered the left eye again, and they didn't even notice. So he got by with that because he was blind in that left eye, remember? Yeah. Didn't notice or didn't say anything, you know. It's hard to figure they didn't notice, you know what I mean? Man, how could you not notice that? But, you know, they didn't say anything about it, and he got by with it. But that was right at the beginning of his career. I wonder how did he go through his entire career without, you know, kept getting licenses and sanctioned to fight and all that stuff, legally blind in one eye. That was right at the beginning, and he fought all the way up to the 80s, remember? That's crazy. But Frazier's second contest was of interest in that he was knocked down by Mike Bruce. Now, Frazier took an 8 count from referee Bob Polis, but he rallied for a TKO over Bruce in the third round. In 1966, as Frazier's career was taking off, Durham contacted Los Angeles trainer Eddie Futch. Okay, this is when Eddie Futch was coming into his life, to his career, right? Durham contacted Eddie Futch, right? And the two men had never met, but Durham had heard of Eddie Futch, who had a reputation as one of the most respected trainers in boxing, right, at that time. And this was way back in 1966. Now, Frazier was sent to Los Angeles to train before Futch agreed to join Durham as an assistant trainer of Frazier's. Now, with Eddie Futch's assistance, Durham arranged 3 fights in Los Angeles against journeymen, right? Al Jones, veteran contender Eddie Macon. Yeah, Eddie Macon was still fighting then. And George Scrap-On Johnson. Okay, George Scrap-On Johnson. I think that's Scrap-On, yeah. Okay. Now, Frazier knocked out Jones and Macon, but surprisingly, he went through 10 rounds with journeyman George Scrap-On Johnson. George Scrap-On Johnson was tough. Yeah, I think that's Joe and Scrap-On right there. Oh, Scrap-On, yeah. Scrap-On was a tough dude, man. Scrap-On went 10 rounds with him. Okay, and Frazier took a unanimous decision. And they found out that Johnson had apparently bet his entire purse that he could go the distance with Joe, right? And he did it. Yeah, he somehow did it. But Johnson was known in the trade as impossibly durable, okay? Yeah, he was known as a tough guy. Little Scrap-On. Look at the name, Scrap-On. Just Do Boxing in the building. You got a name like Scrap-On, you better be tough. Salute Just Do, coming up at 4 p.m. The Voice. Everybody gets their Just Do over there. Okay. All right. Yeah, he just went to distance with old Scrap-On. Then, after the Scrap-On fight, Futch became a full-fledged member of the Frazier camp as an assistant trainer because he went out there to Los Angeles and had those 3 fights. I guess Eddie Futch got to look at him and everything and said, yeah, this guy might be something. So Eddie Futch came on board, right? He became an assistant trainer and strategist who advised Durham on matchmaking. And it was Eddie Futch who suggested that Frazier boycott the 1967 WBA heavyweight elimination tournament, to find a successor to Muhammad Ali after heavyweight champion was stripped, of his title for refusing to be inducted into the military. Everybody knows the story with that. And Frazier was the top-ranked contender at the time and still boycotted the tournament, because in support of Ali. That's why I say Ali was really way out of line the way he treated Frazier. And I told you, Frazier loaned the money too in Hollywood. They wouldn't let Ali earn a living by fighting. Frazier loaned the money to help pay his bills. Yeah. I mean, you can build a fight, but it's a certain limit that you should go to. But anyway, Eddie Futch proved invaluable to Frazier as an assistant trainer, and he helped modify his style. Under Futch's tutelage, Frazier adopted the Barbie Weed defensive strategy. That's where that came from, making it more difficult for taller opponents to punch, because he was always giving up size advantage in his fights, right? And that Barbie Weed gave Frazier more power with his own punching. Now, Futch remained based in Los Angeles, right, where he worked as a supervisor with the U.S. Postal Service, and he flew to Philly to work with Frazier during the final preparation for all of his fights. So Eddie stayed in Los Angeles, he had a good government job out there, and then he would fly to Philly right before they were making the final preparations for his fights. Yeah. Now, after Durham died of a stroke on August 30th, 1973, Futch was asked to succeed him as Frazier's head trainer and manager, right? They wanted Eddie to just take over altogether. And at the time, Futch was training heavyweight contender Ken Norton, right? Who had just lost a rematch against Ali, okay? Less than 2 weeks before Durham's death, right? Now, Norton's manager at the time was Robert Baron and Aaron Ripken. And they demanded that Futch, if he was going to make, he either choose to train either Frazier or Norton, not both of them. And Futch chose Frazier. Okay. I don't know. Nowadays, how come he couldn't train both of them? I don't understand that. Mid to late 1960s. Okay. Now in the second year, September 1966, and somewhat green, Frazier won a close decision over a rugged contender, Oscar Bonavena. Yeah, Oscar was rough, man, from Argentina. Fought them all. Yeah. Oscar Bonavena. Every time I look away, I lose my place. Oscar Bonavena. Despite Bonavena's putting Frazier on the mat twice in the second round, a third knockdown in the third round would have ended the fight under the 3 knockdown rule, so Frazier couldn't go down again. Frazier rallied and won a close split decision after 10 rounds, right? Then he fought Eddie Machen again after that fight. Remember, he had fought Eddie Machen earlier. In 1967, Frazier stormed ahead, winning all 6 of his fights in 1967, including a 6-round knockout of Doug Jones and a brutal 4-round TKO of Canadian George Chuvalo. Yeah, George was tough too, man. George Chuvalo, yeah. He made number 1 on my Toughest Chin show. Toughest chin ever, George Chuvalo. Never been knocked down or knocked out in his career. Fought Shavers, Lister, all of them. Never knocked down. Bad man, okay? Now, no boxer had ever stopped Chuvalo, but Frazier, despite the stoppage, despite the stoppage, was unable to floor Chuvalo. He stopped him, but he didn't knock him down. Never knocked out or knocked down, but TKO. Right? Frazier got a TKO over, right? And Chuvalo would go his entire career and never be knocked down, right? Despite fighting numerous top contenders, like I was just saying, numerous top names, never knocked down in his career. By February 1967, man, I'm having, excuse me, man. Excuse me. I done broke my damn lamp, man. Oh my God. Knocked it down and the top half done came apart. Oh Lord, right in the middle of the show. But I got it. Okay. I'll just sit it right there like that. Okay, here we go. But I broke the lamp. Oh no, hope Miss Cass ain't on here. Damn, I'm in trouble. She ain't here. Does she? Ace, what's up, Ace? Ace in the building. It's her name. Salute, Ace. Bear with me for a minute. I'm having all kinds of damn problems. Give me like 2 minutes. Two minutes. Back up like that. I gotta get another pen. I dropped my pen. I can't find that. Okay. But salute, Ace. Okay, let's continue. Smoking Joe Frazier. Okay. Still early in his professional career. Okay. Still early in his career. Now, by February 1967, by February 1967, Frazier had scored 14 wins, and his star was beginning to rise, okay? This culminated with his first appearance on the cover of Ring magazine. That month he met Ali for the first time, who had not yet been stripped of his title. And Ali said that Joe Frazier, would never stand a chance of whipping him, even in his wildest dreams. Later that year, Muhammad Ali was stripped of his world heavyweight title because of his refusal to accept military induction, to be inducted into the military. Okay, we know that story. Now, to fill the vacancy, the New York State Athletic Commission held a fight between Frazier and Buster Matthews. This is one of the titles, I guess, who were undefeated going into the fight, with the winner to be recognized as world champion by New York State. Okay, Buster Matthews. Oh. Oh my goodness. Not even the slide display any damn more, man. Sorry, I keep stopping. Man. Okay, Buster Matthews. Here we go. Yeah, that's Joe and Buster Matthews right there. So him and Buster Matthews is fighting for the New York State Athletic Commission title. Now, although this fight was not recognized as a World Heavyweight Championship fight by some, Frazier won by knockout in the 11th round and staked the claim to the heavyweight championship. Frazier first defended his claim by beating hard-hitting prospect Manuel Ramos of Mexico. His victory came in only 2 rounds. He closed 1968 by again beating Oscar Bonavena by a 15-round decision in a hard-fought rematch. Yeah, Bonavena was a tough guy. Bonavena fought somewhat defensively and allowed himself to be often bullied to the ropes, which let Frazier build a wide points margin. Ring magazine showed Bonavena afterwards with a gruesomely bruised face. It had been a punishing fight. Yep. In 1969, Frazier defended his New York State Athletic Commission title in Texas and beat Dave Zagowitz, who had lost only once in 29 fights, by a first-round knockout. Then he beat Jerry Quarry. Jerry was a tough man, too. There's Jerry and Frazier. Okay? Then he beat Jerry Quarry in a 7th-round stoppage. The competitive, exciting fight with Quarry was named Ring Magazine's Fighter of the Year of 1969. Frazier showed he could do a lot more than just slug by using his newly honed defensive skills to slip, bob, and weave. Right? Okay, now, World Championship win. On February 16th, 1970, Frazier faced WBA champion Jimmy Ellis at Madison Square Garden. Ellis had outpointed Jerry Corey in the final fight of the WBA elimination tournament for Ali's vacated belt. Frazier had declined to participate in the WBA tournament to protest their decision to strip Ali. So Ellis had held this belt ever since 1967. It was now 1970, okay? Ellis had impressive wins over Oscar Bonavena and Leotis Martin, among others. Now, beforehand, Ali had announced his retirement, okay, from boxing. Now, Frazier won by a technical knockout over Ellis when Ellis's trainer, Angelo Dundee, would not let him come out for the 5th round, following 2 4th-round knockdowns, the first knockdowns of Ellis's career. Frazier's decisive win over Ellis was a frightening display of power and tenacity. Yeah, Angelo trained Jimmy Ellis too, besides Muhammad Ali. In his first defense, Frazier traveled to Detroit to fight world light heavyweight champion Bob Foster. Yep, Bob Foster. He was the light heavyweight champion at the time. Bob was. Now, Bob would go on to record, to set records for the number of title defenses in the light heavyweight division. Frazier was 26-0 at the time, and he retained this title by twice flooring the hard-punching Foster in the 2nd round. That was hard punching that light heavyweight, though. But Frazier really was a small heavyweight, too, so probably wasn't that much difference in size between them by the time of the fight. But they had same-day weigh-ins then, too. So, yeah. But it was heavyweight, so it didn't really make a difference. But, yeah, so they probably were around the same weight because Frazier was the smallest heavyweight. Bob was a light heavyweight. Didn't have cruiserweight at that time. Now, the second knockdown was delivered by a devastating left hook, and Foster could not beat the count. Then came what was hyped as the fight of the century. His first fight with Muhammad Ali, who had launched a comeback in 1970 after a 3-year suspension from boxing. It would be the first meeting of the 2 undefeated heavyweight champions, and last until Mike Tyson faced Michael Spinks in 1988. Well, the next 2 undefeated champions met 18 years later, Mike Tyson and Michael Spinks, right? Ali was 31-0 at the time. Now, since Ali had not lost his title in the ring, but had been stripped because of his refusal to be inducted into the armed forces, some people considered him to still be the true champion, right? And the fight would crown the true heavyweight champion. The fight of the century, yeah. Both had a legitimate claim to it because Ali had never lost it in the ring, but Frazier had won it in the ring. It wasn't Frazier's fault they stripped him. So both really had legitimate claims to it. Now, this was the one where Ali talked all the trash and really got kind of out of line on it. It was March 8, 1971 at Madison Square Garden, right? They met in their first of 3 fights. This one was called the fight of the century. Now, this wasn't the first fight of the century because Jack Johnson and, it was James J. Jeffries back in like the 1900s and something was the first fight of the century, okay? I had to look it up and get the exact date. But this was also called Fight of the Century. Now, with an international television audience and an in-house audience that included singers and actors, and with Burt Lancaster, who served as color commentator. Burt Lancaster was a big-time actor from back in that period, sort of like who nowadays would be like somebody like a Tom Cruise from now. Burt Lancaster was like on that level back then. Okay. He was the color commentator for this fight, right? Both undefeated heavyweights met in immediate frenzied atmosphere, right? Spectators came together for Frazier. Several factors came together for Frazier in the fight. He was 27 and mentally and physically at his peak. Ali was 29 and coming back from a 3-year absence. He had had 2 good wins in his comeback, right? This wasn't his first fight. This was his third fight, including a bruising 15-round technical knockout win over Oscar Bonavena. Now that was a good tune-up, Oscar Bonavena. Yeah, Oscar Bonavena was an excellent tune-up, the type of fighter he was, because he's going to give you a test, man. He tested Frazier 2 times, okay? So excellent tune-up for Ali. Now Frazier and Eddie Futch noticed Ali's tendency to throw a right-hand uppercut from a straight standing position after dropping the hand in preparation to throw it with force, okay? Futch knew Ali very well. Ali had 5 losses. 4 of them came to Eddie Futch trained fighters, okay? Knew Ali very well. Now Futch instructed Frazier to watch Ali's right hand, and once Ali dropped it, to throw a left hook at the spot that they knew Ali's face would be a second later, and that worked too. In that, I think it was the 15th round. I think he dropped Ali twice in that fight. Let me see. In a brutal and competitive fight, Frazier lost the first 2 rounds, but was able to withstand Ali's combinations. Frazier was known to improve in the middle rounds, which was the case with Ali. Frazier came on strong after the 3rd round by landing hard shots to the body and powerful left hooks to the head. Frazier won a 15-round unanimous decision with scores of 15 rounds, then 9-6, 11-4, 8-6-1, and claimed the lineal title. Ali was taken to a hospital immediately after the fight to check that the severely swollen right side jaw was not actually broken. Okay? Frazier also spent time in the hospital during the ensuing month. The exertions of the fight having been exacerbated by hypertension and a kidney infection. Wow. Okay? That was the fight of the century. Okay, let's move ahead. Then came his loss. He lost that title to George Foreman. Talk about that one. Title loss to Big George. Solo Dolo. What's happened? Solo Dolo says Joe died broke. Yeah, he did, Solo Dolo. Let's salute. I like that name. Solo Dolo in the house. Salute, Solo Dolo. Welcome. Friday is always the profile. Smoking Joe Frazier today. But title lost to Big George Foreman. Okay. Lost my spot. Bear with me for a second, please. Today's been rough. Broke miscast land. I might just stay on here for the rest of the day, because once I get off, I'm going to get it. I'm going to go into everybody at the JBT show. I'm going to be in here until BVO go off. Title lost to George Foreman. Frazier lost his undefeated record of 29-0 and his world championship to Big George Foreman. George Foreman was also unbeaten. This fight was January 22nd, 1973 in Kingston, Jamaica. Now, despite Frazier being the overall favorite, Foreman towered over him, right? He had an 8-inch reach advantage, and he dominated Frazier from the start of the fight. Over the course of just 2 rounds, Foreman managed to knock Frazier down 6 times en route to a TKO knockout victory. 2 rounds. Now, Frazier won his next fight, which was a 12-round decision over Joe Buckner in London to begin his quest to regain the title. Joe Buckner was a tough Englishman, man. Yeah, Joe Buckner. Look where Bruce Gass is. Okay, the next fight, he's had a second fight with Ali, okay? This was January 28th, 1974. Oh, this is all out of order, but it's okay. Yeah, that's Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. Yeah, they had the second fight, 1974, back in New York again. Now, in contrast to their previous fight, this was a non-title fight. I think Ali had the NABF though, but that was a minor title back then. Ali won a 12-round unanimous decision, and the fight was notable for the amount of clinching. After the fight, Tony Perez, the referee, when asked about the violation from Ali, because Ali was clinching a lot in that fight, Tony Perez, the referee, said the only violation is if you hold and hit at the same time. Although Ali was holding Frazier, he was not hitting. Okay. Now, 5 months later, Frazier again battled Jerry Corey at Madison Square Garden, winning the fight in the 5th round with a strong left hook to the ribs. In March 1975, Frazier fought another rematch with Jimmy Ellis in Melbourne, Australia, and knocked him out in 9 rounds. The win again established Frazier as the top heavyweight challenger for the title. And you know who had it? Ali had won it from Foreman in the famous Rumble in the Jungle. Okay? So then came the Thriller in Manila. His win over Jimmy Ellis set that up. Frazier's win over Jimmy Ellis and Ali's win over Foreman set the Thriller in Manila up. Okay, the Thriller in Manila. Frazier Ali 3. The greatest fight of all time. Any division. Now, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier met for the 3rd and final time in the Philippines, right? Manila, the Philippines, on October 1st, 1975. Now, prior to the fight, Ali took opportunities to mock Frazier by calling him a gorilla and generally trying to irritate him. And Ali had a little gorilla he would carry around with him. He would punch it, and he called that Frazier. Now, the fight was a punishing display on both sides under oppressively hot conditions. During the fight, Ali said to Frazier, "They said you were through, Joe. They lied." Ali repeatedly held Frazier around the back of his neck with the right hand, a violation of the rules that went unpunished by the referee, just like the second fight. After 14 grueling rounds, Ali returned to his corner, demanding that they cut his gloves off and end the fight. But Dundee ignored Ali. This proved fortuitous, as across the ring, Fudd stopped the fight out of concern for Frazier. Frazier had a closed left eye and almost closed right eye and a cut. Ali later said it was the closest thing to dying that I ever knew of. In 1977, Ali told an interviewer that he felt his 3rd Frazier fight was his best performance. When the interviewer suggested his win over Cleveland Williams, Ali said, "No, Frazier's much tougher and rougher than Cleveland Williams." Then he had another fight with Big George Foreman. Okay, we winding down now. Second fight with Big George. Okay, now let's Frazier on the mat there. In 1976, he was 32-3. He had 2 losses to Ali and 1 to Foreman, because they only had 4, remember? 2 to Ali, 2 to Foreman. Now, okay. So he's fighting George Foreman for a second time. And he shaved his head for this fight. He shaved his head for the second fight, okay? That's it from the first fight. Now, Frazier was more restrained than usual and avoided walking into big shots, because remember that first fight, like he had done the first fight. But Foreman lobbed a tremendous left hook that lifted Frazier off his feet, okay? After a second knockdown, the fight was stopped in the 5th round. Shortly after the fight, Smokin' Joe Frazier announced his retirement and made a cameo appearance in the movie Rocky in 1976 and dedicated himself to training local fighters in Philly, where he grew up, including some of his own children. He also helped train Dwayne Bobbitt. 1980s comeback, and he made a comeback and career as a trainer. Yeah, Joe made a comeback. In 1981, Frazier attempted a comeback. He drew over 10 rounds. He had a 10-round draw with Floyd Jumbo Cummings in Chicago, Illinois. It was a bruising battle with mixed reviews. He then retired for good. And I told you, if anybody just came in, the way their careers were intertwined, Frazier and Ali, they retired exactly 1 week apart. Frazier retired 1 week and Ali retired the next week. Isn't that something? Then after he retired, he involved himself in various endeavors. Among his sons who turned to boxing as a career, he trained his son Marvis. Great. Marvis didn't want to fight. And then after Mike Tyson got him out of there in 30 seconds, Marvis said, that's it. But he did train Marvis, a challenger for Larry Holmes' world heavyweight title. And Larry was hitting him and telling the referee, come stop it at the same time. He also trained his daughter. Yep. He had a son and daughter follow him into the ring. Her name was Jackie Frazier Lott, and she became a WBA World Light Heavyweight Champion, whose most notable fight was a close majority decision points loss against Layla Ali, the daughter of her father's rival. And that her and Layla Ali fought on the end of 30 years after the fight of the century, which was March 8th, 1971. Layla Ali and Jackie Frazier Lott fought on March 8th, 2001. Frazier's final overall record was 32 wins, 4 losses, with 1 draw, 27 wins by knockout. He had an 84% knockout rate, okay? 27 knockouts and 32 wins. He won 73%. No, that's not right. They don't know. See, they did it wrong. They did it by the amount of fights. You do it by the amount of wins, not fights. See, this thing is saying 73%. I'll show you exactly what they did. He had 37 fights. So they took that into the number of wins, knockouts. That is incorrect. 270 by 37 is, yeah, that's what they did. It's not knockout to fight, it's knockout to win ratio. So you do it by the amount of wins. So we had 27 knockouts. So you take 32 into that to win. 84%, that's what it is. 84%. His knockout rate was 84%, not 73, 84. Now, he won 84% of his fights by knockout. Okay. Now Ali had like a 60-something% knockout rate. Foreman had, I think Foreman was 84% for Foreman too. There it is. And he is a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. In 1984, Frazier was a special referee for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes at Starrcade 84. He awarded the match to Ric Flair because of Dusty Rhodes' excessive bleeding. Okay, I never knew that. Joe was a referee for that. Wrestling, wow. Never knew that. Yeah, he did all that in retirement, okay? In 1986, he appeared as the corner man for Mr. T against Roddy Piper at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum as part of WrestleMania 2. Well, he was in the second WrestleMania. In 1989, Frazier joined Ali, Foreman, Norton, and Holmes for the tribute special, Champions Forever. Yeah, I saw that picture. Frazier was inducted into the Madison Square Garden Walk of Fame in 1996. Okay. He made media appearances. The Smokin' Joe Frazier. Media appearances. Frazier appeared as himself in an episode of The Simpsons. Brother, Can You Spare Two Dimes? In 1992, in which he was supposed to have been beaten up by Barney Gumble in Moe's Tavern. You remember Moe's Tavern? Yeah. If I lived there with them, I would have hung out in Moe's Tavern. Yeah. Now, Frazier's son objected So Frazier was instead shown beating up Gumbo and putting him in a trash can. Frazier appeared in another episode of The Simpsons, Homer's paternity coup, in 2006. He appeared on screen in the 8th series of The Celebrity Apprentice television show as a guest attendee at a silent auction event held for the season's finale. Frazier appeared as himself in the Academy Award-winning 1976 movie Rocky. Okay. Yeah, he appeared in Rocky. Yeah, he got a few books. Then he had some financial and legal issues too, Joe did, in his life. Yeah. Like, I think it was Solo Dolo said, he died broke. Financial issues and legal battles. Yeah. According to an article from the New York Times, over the years, Frazier has lost a fortune through a combination of his own generosity and naivete, his carousing, and failed business opportunities. The other headliners from his fighting days, Ali, George Foreman, and Larry Holmes, are millionaires. Asked about his situation, Frazier became playfully defensive, but would not reveal his financial status. But would not reveal. Are you asking me how much money I have? He said. I got plenty of money. I got a stack of $100 bills rolled up over there in the back of this room. Frazier blamed himself partly for not effectively promoting his own image. In the 2006 HBO documentary on the fight in Manila, Frazier was interviewed living in his one-room apartment on the second floor of his gym in Philly. Wow. His daughter, Jackie Frazier, lied as a lawyer. She worked on her father's behalf in pursuit of money they claimed he was owed in a Pennsylvania land deal. In 1973, Frazier purchased 140 acres in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, for $843,000. 5 years later, a developer agreed to buy the farmland for $1.8 million. Frazier received annual payments from a trust fund that bought the land with money he had earned in the ring. But when the trust went bankrupt, the payments ceased. Wow. Now, his relationship with Muhammad Ali, okay, that was complicated in the end. You know, he never forgave Ali for the way he treated him. Yeah. Frazier and Ali were initially friends when they first met in the 60s. During Ali's 3-year layoff from boxing, Frazier lent him money. Frazier testified before Congress on his behalf and petitioned U.S. President Richard Nixon to have Ali's right to box reinstated. Frazier supported Ali's right not to serve in the army. You know, he said, if Baptists weren't allowed to fight, I wouldn't fight either. Because Frazier was a Baptist, right? You know, Ali was a Muslim, said he wasn't allowed to fight. Frazier said, if Baptists weren't allowed to fight, I wouldn't fight either. But in the build up to their first fight, the fight of the century, like I told you, that was the worst one of all for Ali. Ali was really hard on him then. In the build up to their first fight, the fight of the century, Ali turned it into a cultural and political referendum by painting himself as a revolutionary and civil rights champion and painting Frazier as the white man's hope. Ali called him an Uncle Tom and a pawn of the white establishment, as Frazier called him Clay. Ali successfully turned many Black Americans against Frazier because Frazier never spoke out about race issues. He shouldn't have had to. You know, I mean, that was his choice. And Ali could easily paint himself as hero to oppress Black people. Brian Gumbo joined the pro-Ali Frazier bandwagon by writing a major magazine article that asks, is Joe Frazier a white champion with Black skin? Frazier thought that was a cynical attempt by Clay to make me feel isolated from my own people. He thought that would weaken me when it came time to face him in the ring. Yeah, Ali was really I think it was way off base the way he carried it against Joe. But yeah, and Joe never forgave him, right? Later life, Frazier lived and trained at 2917 North Broad Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he owned and managed Joe Frazier's gym. With the help of Peter Bocard, Frazier formed the SMOKIN Joe Frazier Foundation, whose purpose was to give back to troubled and in-need youth. Okay, Bocard volunteered to run the foundation for Frazier and attempted to get a bronze statue of Frazier erected in Philly, but the city declined and opted for the Rocky statue instead. They're gonna get a statue of a damn movie star in a boxing stance when the real heavyweight champion, Hall of Famer from there. But they put up a statue of Rocky. Ain't that some crazy shit there, man? Ridiculous. But declined to put up one of Frazier. Rocky, an actor. His record is the same as mine, 0-0. Crazy, man. Yeah. But that's who got the statue, Rocky. And they declined to put one of Joe Frazier up. Okay? Now, once Frazier's health declined, the foundation was shelved. In mid-2009, Frazier sold a gymnasium on Broad Street. He was diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure. He and his nemesis, Muhammad Ali, alternated over the years between public apologies and public insults. When Ali lit the this is what I'm telling you about. When Ali lit the 1996 Summer Olympics flame in Atlanta, Frazier told a reporter that he would like to throw Ali into the fire and felt that he should have been chosen to light the flame. Not really. Ali was more well known than Frazier. Frazier made millions of dollars in the 1970s, but the reported mismanagement of his real estate contributed to some financial difficulties. Like Solo Dolo said, he died broke. Okay, all that money he made, and then finally, his death. Frazier was diagnosed with liver cancer in late September 2011. By November 2011, he was under hospice care in Philly, where he died on November 7th, 2011 at the age of 67. Upon hearing of Frazier's death, Muhammad Ali said, "The world has lost a great champion. I will always remember Joe with respect and admiration." On November 14th, Frazier's private funeral was held at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was attended by Muhammad Ali, Don King, Larry Holmes, Magic Johnson, Dennis Rodman, his friends and family, and others. Floyd Mayweather Jr. paid for Frazier's funeral services. His body was buried at the Ivy Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a short drive from the Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. Now, see, I told you about Pete Rose, they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame now that he did. Listen to this. A statue of Frazier was commissioned from sculptor Lawrence Nowland after the man died. Heck, when he was alive, they denied him the statue. When he died, here comes the statue. What I tell y'all the other day, Pete Rose been trying to get in the Hall of Fame for 40 years. Now he died this week. By this time next year, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. I told you. Perfect example, man. Couldn't get a man the flowers while he living, but now that he died, they're gonna make a statue of him. Sylvester Stallone he shouldn't even get the statue after he died. Come on, man. Now they're gonna give Frazier when the man died. Why not give it to him while he's living? Don't understand it. It's just crazy. But there you have it. The life and career of Joe Frazier. Pete Rose will be in the Hall of Fame by next year. They always do it after you die. You know, I don't understand that. Give the person the flowers while they're alive and can enjoy it, man. You know? But I hope everybody enjoyed that. Oh, Lord, forget you. I'm done. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Another big week of boxing history is over. Next week, we'll start out with fantasy matchups Monday. Roberto Duran, the Hands of Stone versus the Legend. Tank, Roberto Duran versus Tank, Harry Armstrong, Benny Leonard, just a whole bunch of other lightweights, that fought, and because he was the Hands of Stone at lightweight. Roberto went all the way to light heavyweight, but he came to those 70s as a lightweight. Only beaten once as a lightweight, 71-1. And that's Monday. I don't know who the profile is. It's way over there somewhere. Let me get it right quick. Let y'all know who next week is. I always forget to break over. Count from 10 to 0 back, but I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Just Do Boxing coming up next in about 10 minutes. It's Friday. Woo-wee, it's Friday. So we got Just Do Boxing at 4, then the Hangout. The Friday night, not just the Hangout, the Friday night Hangout at 8. BYOW, bring your own whatever, buckle your seatbelts, because ain't no telling what might happen in there. It's been robbed before. I ain't trying to scare you away, but BN Boxing News tried to rob it. Came in there with a mask on once. I don't know what he was doing, but he did that. So, yeah. But it's tonight at 8 o'clock. And then the Rise podcast at 9. And then it's Friday, the Angry White Men podcast at 10 p.m. with D1 and William Old School Rant. We done got a couple of bonus ones this week, too, in the mornings. And so that's been Friday, but it's Friday. Next Friday's profile is Harry Greed. Okay, middleweight, light heavyweight, 20s, 30s, Harry Greed. So, yeah, I do 2 old ones, and then I'll come back up this year. We got Pernell Whitaker coming up, Felix Trinidad coming up. Yeah. I got a show from the chat for next week, too. It's from Big Supreme. It's we're gonna do a show on Tex Ricard. I can't believe I never did one on Tex. Yeah, Tex was the first time big promoter of note, right? Like I was saying, the Bob Father and Don King fathers and read books and studied Tex Ricard. That's who they wanted to be when they grew up, Tex Ricard. Tex was a bad man. Tex promoted the first $1 million gate, built Madison Square Garden, owned the New York Islanders hockey team until his death. Yeah, Tex was a big-time promoter back around the 20s. So we're going to talk about him next Wednesday. And a whole big week of boxing history next week, okay? So make sure you join me for that. And I think we got another fight tonight, I believe. I missed the one. I'm talking about Janet Beck coming up tonight, and Mike Madsen going to tell me it was this morning. Told you I'm old. I did the same thing last week. I was in our meeting Saturday talking about Alicia Baumgardner and Delphine Pursoon Saturday night, and somebody said, "Oh, that was last night, Cass." I felt stupid as shit. But it's all good. At least I got old. Damn it. Okay. I'm trying to see what's after Louisiana? Anybody know? But cause that was a good boxing in the States yesterday. I must admit that Louisiana was good, man. I hope Old School listen to it. They should be proud of me. Tell them, make sure you do a good job on my state, Louisiana. And then I'm gonna look it up. And what's after Louisiana? I'm gonna look it up and then I'm out of here. You ready to go check out Just Do Boxing, The Voice. Oh, that's probably balanced, unbiased boxing talk over there. Everybody gets to just do and Just Do Boxing. Anybody know what's after Louisiana? What was y'all doing when y'all was in school? Was been learning this stuff, man. I'm Googling it. I don't know it either. Okay, here we go. Next week, boxing in the States will be Maine. All right, Maine. Okay. So we are putting this week into the history books. I will see y'all next week because If it's Monday through, oh, wait a minute. I got to tell y'all who was in the building today. Who was in the building today? We had Solo Dolo. What a name. Love that name. Solo Dolo, salute. Ace, Just Do Boxing, Donnie Williams, Ant McQueen, Al Burger, BN Boxing News, BBO Boxing TV, hashtag JBT, Melvin Queen 27, Crush the Legend, Big Supreme, hashtag AMC FSG. Crush the Legend is hashtag TWT, by the way, the winning team. D1, hashtag JBT. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Mike Mazik, Hardcore Boxing News, hashtag JBT. The founder of the JBT. And Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. But I will be back next week. Now, because you know, if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Appreciate everybody. Have a great weekend. Just Do Boxing is straight ahead. I am Cat Sports, the Boxtorian. Everybody have a great weekend. Appreciate y'all. Everybody have